Playing at your best, then you will get left. If it don't involve money, then I don't accept. If it don't involve money, then I don't accept.
We are back. Welcome on in, everyone. It's Insane Game TV behind the counter live here on Insane Game TV. Said it backwards there. Steve and Mike and myself. Dave is off today. We got some stuff to go over. We were going to do some Grand Theft Auto stuff, but we'll table that till next week. We'll talk a little Mortal Kombat. Mike and I watched that earlier. Actually, we watched it here in the studio. We had to divide it into 2 different days. We started watching it Saturday, right, Steve? And one of the funny things about the way things work here in the store is that it can be absolutely dead, and then when you start to do something, it's like, oh, we're all just gonna start walking in and start. I mean, it's not like we're complaining that people are coming into the store. It's just one of those like, we literally you could be sitting here. It's like when you want to have lunch all of a sudden. You know, you're at the store and it's just completely dead. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna go have a bagel now. And then all of a sudden, 25 people and
you
10
and the
minutes
bagels.
And it's just one of those like you can never win. Like if you have to go to the bathroom, there's always an example. Like okay, I'm gonna try to quick go to the bathroom now. And then like, you go to the bathroom, come back, and there's like 15 people, and people are like, hello. That's my favorite. Like, you go in, they go hello. And like you go back. I literally had a guy, not to get too much off the topic, I literally had a guy last week, and I was literally out there, and I went back and grabbed the water, and I was merely back here for like 10 seconds, and this guy goes, hello. I'm like, is this guy just like, I mean, to me, like, I would never walk into a store and like, I would
immediately start yelling at.
Let's put it this way: if you were to walk in the store that's empty, and you needed somebody, how long would you wait until you kind of started to get a little like...
Probably at least a minute or 2.
Right, would you wait? Like, how long would you wait?
Oh, 2 or 3 minutes.
Would you immediately... I mean, I went back and watched on the camera. This guy walked in, right back, just walked, all the way right here, and just yelled, hello! Like, he didn't even give a... I mean, for all he knows, I could have been in the back corner.
Yeah.
You know, rearranging the PlayStation 2 games. He had no idea.
No.
But it's just like... But... Either way, no matter what the situation is, whenever we try to do something, it's always people end up coming in. So that was the case yesterday. And, of course, we started watching Mortal Kombat, and one guy... And first off, he was watching the movie out. We had another thing going on the TV out front that he was watching for like 15 minutes. I
Was it NASCAR? No.
It was the race.
Oh,
his daughter and I'm assuming his wife were walking around shouting. He was like watching the ARCA race for NASCAR up there. And then I said to Mike, let's go, keep it going. Like I'm not like that's like this. What's hit the play buttons? We watch him, and he comes over here and he's standing by the entrance watching, and probably one of the most absurd
scenes of it. So we talk about the movie, or we spoiler
we'll
alert?
Go down there a little bit. But one of the biggest fatalities in the movie, probably the grossest, most.
It was awesome, but he was watching it
and he
very
was watching
closely.
It's just like.
The one thing you wouldn't want a customer to see on your TV, but thankfully he was cool about it. He was like, oh, that was awesome.
As soon as you're out of their line of sight. Hello.
I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, the guy is like, and of course they always they always come in, they walk around, and they're always intrigued as to what's going on. So, we had the TV was pretty loud.
That's
true.
It
wasn't like they, you couldn't hear the Mortal Kombat going on. But
the combat noises.
But no, we're gonna we'll talk a little about Mortal Kombat in a little bit. We're gonna do we're trying to get OC5 here on the set. We want to talk a little bit about the resurgence of the we talked a little bit about last week, the resurgence of the Grand Theft Auto role playing. Well, I mean, you've always had the private servers. But I think the whole role playing now has become you always kind of role play. Now it's a kind of big thing. Like everyone's just kind of like, intrigued, and I'm intrigued. I'm still trying to figure out what position I like to apply for.
You'll never, ever, ever, ever be police chief, ever.
Commissioner.
Either chief or commissioner.
Commissioner.
But you'll never be it.
Maybe a sergeant.
Maybe.
Dude,
Is that even a cop position?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a military position.
Nope.
Both.
Both?
Sergeants are like the supervisors. So it goes patrolman, or like officer. Then it goes. I mean, there may be like a little position in between, but then it should go officer. Do you have the ranking? Don't tell me. Let's see if I get them right.
Okay.
So it goes officer or patrolman, and then it goes sergeant, lieutenant, captain, chief, commissioner, and there could be some like variety of different stuff in there. Let's see how much I'm right and wrong.
All right. So it starts with
Am I wrong? Am I wrong in general?
you have the order right, but you missed a couple. It's
Commander,
technician, officer, patrol, detective.
technician. Can you give me a definition of what that is?
I will.
Someone
after
that
lists,
does the tech.
Yeah, keep going.
corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, deputy police chief, then chief of police.
All right, so I forgot deputy.
There's no commissioner, he said, either.
Well, commissioner's like the venerable.
He said chief.
Local police. Like, there's not a commissioner of like Warren County Sheriff. There's a sheriff. What about
All I'm
sheriff?
saying is he just
I mean,
read.
sheriff's
That's-
not in there.
That's probably along the lines of like patrolman.
Chief, yeah. Well, no, I'm talking like sheriff in general, like the sheriff of the town.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I gotta imagine that's more like chief,
No.
chief and sheriff. I mean,
But
you could
there's
be
no
just a-
commissioner, though.
You could be a sheriff. You could be a sheriff in the general terms of your. I'm a police. I'm a sheriff. But like the actual town sheriff,
Yep,
I
yep.
think is equivalent to like a police chief.
A police technician is a non-sworn member of a police department. In this career, your job is to free up sworn officers by completing work on nonviolent crimes and misdemeanors. So meter
Parking
maid.
tickets, meter man, or lady.
So where would you think you would fall on that Tower of Power?
Like if I had to jump in right now.
Well, obviously you'd start from the bottom, but where do you think you would end up eventually?
Oh, I would be extremely disappointed if I wasn't lieutenant. So that means I would have to earn my badges.
What's that, like middle of the pack?
So that means I would
Yeah,
have to start
yeah.
out as. I mean, I don't think you
I
start
could
out
probably
as a
see that.
technician in Grand Theft Auto. I think I'd start out as a patrolman or deputy, or a training officer, and
No.
then go into. I want to be. First off, I wouldn't be. I would not be pleased if I didn't have some authority. So I definitely want to be a sergeant immediately, relatively close. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want to pull out. Can I have your sergeant, please? And then they had to come. It's like a supervisor. And then the lieutenant is kind of like there's very few lieutenants. I mean, obviously there's more sergeants and as you go higher, the positions get less. Like there's a bunch of patrolmen, then there's a few sergeants and then a few lieutenants. and
That's
then
why I said you would
couple of
never be the
captains.
chief, because there's only like one or two.
I'd be a chief. I'd be easily a chief.
Yee. Give you a hearty yee on that one.
Not really. I definitely think I could fulfill being.
You probably wouldn't be much further than sergeant in my eyes.
But Lieutenant Dan, you got new You've got new legs. There you go.
I guess that would be classic if he was a lieutenant, just so he could be Lieutenant Dan. And then
Howdy,
you could
Brandon.
role
How you
play.
doing?
You can actually get a wheelchair in it, and you can role play a character that's in a wheelchair. He could go full blown Lieutenant Dan, essentially.
Hopefully in the next, I'm hoping next week we can get OC5 in here, and definitely check them out and talk a little Grand Theft Auto and stuff. So that'll be interesting. Talk a little NASCAR for a second. We had the Talladega race last night, and
Who won that race?
Brad K.
Oh,
Who came in second?
William Byron.
William Byron.
Don't forget it.
It was a big. The race pretty much played out almost exactly like the iRace on Wednesday. Logano flipped in both, and Keselowski won both. So it's a bit
It
weird.
was meant to be.
You know, what are any other highlights from the race? See?
There was that one wreck with Hamlin at the end of stage 2 that took out pretty much.
That had like that had Joe. No, Joe Logano was in that one. That had Denny Hamlin, that had a bunch of big time names in it. I'm trying to think of who it was. I remember thinking, oh wow, there's a lot of good ones out.
Byron, Bowman,
Yeah.
and Elliott in one fell swoop.
Also, pretty much all 100 cars. What happened to Kyle Larson?
His motor blew up.
Whoa.
Was he doing well when it happened?
I have no idea. It was like lap 5 or 6.
That quickly?
Yeah.
He's gonna be mad at his equipment guy, right? Or...
I don't know. Doing well, Sauce Boss.
I forgot to mention I'm apparently the sauce boss now.
Oh, there you go.
You have that bucket in the back that I keep filling with sauces. And
The sauce
everyone keeps
boss.
filling it up.
There you go.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, so the race was pretty good. I wasn't able. I watched it at the end, and then I kind of skimmed through it, and this is what happens every time I landed on stuff. Because the drafting, I like Talladega, but they're hard to watch. Like to watch the entire thing. It is kind of boring. Like just to sit there.
Wow.
No. Am I wrong, Steve?
It depends on which package.
Danny
they use.
NASCAR finds NASCAR boring.
That's not what I said. I
Finds
find
Talladega boring.
I find you get like 2 minutes of complete adrenaline rush watching what's going on, like the crash and all that, and then it's just like 45 minutes nothing, 5 minutes of something, 45 minutes of nothing, 5 minutes of something, 45. It's just like it just. I've never been a fan of that. I hate watching drafting races. They're just not. I never really call it. I never really consider them a real race to watch. I don't know why. That's my opinion. I like watching them go. I like actually watching them pass and watching them like go down low, go high. The whole just and they're in the straight line.
You know,
and
like
it's
the when they pass by.
Well, look, I like Daytona. First off, when Daytona starts, I can care less what race they're at. I mean, it's the first race of the season. So I love, but like when it comes back to Talladega, I mean, the first one is the first one. I love Daytona, you know, first race of the season. But then we had Danny NASCAR last night, and I flew off the track at one point. I almost pulled a Joey Logano. Did you see it?
I didn't see it.
We'll have to. I think we're gonna have to get it clipped and put on. But I literally was on Watkins Glen. I got hit, and they sent. My car went so high, went off the track and into the trees. I literally went into the trees for 2 seconds.
How did you get out?
And then I went and put me back on the track.
I was wondering what
if
would
something
happen.
like that happens, I think I shouldn't be allowed to race. I should be considered dead for the race.
Yeah.
Because if that was a real situation, and my car went off the track that high and went over the fence and landed in the trees, I find it hard to believe that I wouldn't at least suffer some kind of injury. Am I wrong on that?
As long as you're wearing all your protective gear.
You very well could, yeah. You very well could survive.
You'd be driving a pretty damaged car, but you could be okay.
You could. But we gave away our first ever hauler last night. So, okay, Steve, let's have this debate.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to deal with this. So, obviously, Danny NASCAR, we do the public lobbies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we do the public lobbies, and we have 40 people. And we get 40 people quick. Like, I remember back when we used to start, like, you know, back in, you know, we had the first Danny NASCAR. I always kind of like the first Danny NASCAR. Then we took the hiatus for a while. And now we're kind of like on the second version of Danny NASCAR.
2.0.
The 2.0 version. The
Yeah.
first one, remember we would create the lobbies and we just like would never get anyone?
Mhm.
We kind of just sit there and wait. But now, like, I literally turn the lobbies on and it's like... And really a lot of people in the lobbies aren't even in the game chat. Like,
Yeah.
they're still like you know, because you can kind of tell... most people that are communicating on Twitch, you can kind of see that their names are, you know,
Yeah.
somewhat aligned on their Xbox profiles as well. And then there's some just completely different. But, you know, the lobby can get up to 40, and it's like they're not, some of them aren't even in, so it's like, it's just weird. But we have the issue of the crashing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, some people are like, we want private lobbies, we want private lobbies. It's just like,
The issue of
if
the
we do
crashing.
private lobbies, we can't meet anybody. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, I mean, I feel like maybe if Danny NASCAR is a 3-hour show, doing like an hour of private lobby racing, and then maybe 2 hours of public.
You gotta work it out somehow.
Maybe
You know what I
have like a set people, like the more regular people, like in automatically, and then have some like the less regular people race their way in. If they
Right.
if they win a race, then
Right,
they
right,
can
right.
go to the private lobby after.
And I'm not even sure how the private lobby works. Are we gonna have to have like a reputation meter? Like after they had to do a couple public ones, and then once we get used to their profile,
Pretty much,
then they get invited into the private ones.
They're pretty much just saying everybody that's in there.
And then how does the private ones work? Do I have to send invites?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or they can once they're in. You could just invite like Soccer Dog or something, then you can invite everyone else. But
Well, if I just play Soccer Dog, there's only 2 people in the. I mean,
what do you mean?
if I invite just one person, I gotta go through and invite.
And then you
30
can
people.
ask him to invite everyone else.
Yes.
But then he invites one person, that person invites somebody.
But I don't even know the process of how to invite people. So if I go, is it like the general Xbox where I send them a game invite?
Yeah, man. I don't see the confusion here.
There's a lot of so maybe so maybe we'll have to do what we should do. That's gonna take a long time though. Like, how do people register for the private race?
Well, you have them all gathered in the Discord. You could let them know ahead of time and gauge how many people would be there. Have them sign up. Say if you don't
Maybe
have
they
this many.
to register on Discord.
Yeah.
Maybe have like the Sunday races be public, and then the Monday night races be private.
Could do that.
And he said followers only, so all you have to do to get in is be following, essentially. If it's not full already.
I didn't think it's a private. So I don't know. I just do private matches show up when you go look at all of them?
No. That's the point, huh?
Oh, so even though the game says 322 people, there can be a lot more people on there racing, like leagues and all that.
I think it might
Yeah.
still count them for people being
I don't
online,
know.
probably.
No, I don't think it does.
I think it does, bro.
I don't think it does.
might just-
I've seen the lot. I've seen the amount of people where it says like there's like 70 people on, and you can count the lobbies, and there's 70 people.
I don't know about that.
I do know about that.
So what happens when the lobby's full and you can't see the lobby? You can count that in?
When you can't see the lobby, it's still like when you go to.
So it still counts the numbers when it's full.
When you go on, when you go on to the NASCAR Heat lobby, when you first get in, it tells you how many people are online.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a lobby of 40 that's not showing up because of racing, though, that 40 is included in who's online.
Exactly, just like the private lobbies, is
Right.
what I'm trying to say.
No, I don't think so. I do not.
Yeah, unless
know.
you have proof to say that, then I don't think that's accurate. It just says players online. It doesn't say players racing in public races.
I don't know if that's accurate. You know, Steve?
I have no idea.
He's staying out of this
I tend
one.
to not touch online unless it's for Danny NASCAR.
I don't know, but I think we have to come up with a policy for how to do private.
Say
I'm kind
followers.
of liking because I want to do both on both days. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe like an hour of private racing and then the 2 hours of public. But I think the hour of
It's
private
essentially a private lobby already if you're kicking people.
Well, that's
that,
what I don't get.
it's really...
I mean, Soccer Dog, one of our regulars, is very, very not on top of who to boot.
I wouldn't
I
worry
think
about it too much.
I
in the end, guess.
think a lot of people are upset just with the bumping, and you're gonna have that no matter who you're racing. As good as you are, you're gonna see people crashing.
You're just going to have to set some rules for the boys.
Let's talk Mortal Kombat. I don't know if we'll give too many spoilers, but spoiler alert! Spoiler! We're gonna be talking about some Mortal Kombat, so if you have not seen it and you plan on seeing it, I would hit that mute button. You can just look at our faces.
Look at their faces, not mine. I'll slide away. Nah.
But so we just watched it earlier today. Now Mike was breaking it down, and between the two of you guys can do some heavy research. But Mike was trying to break down the history of Mortal Kombat, and I'm not quite sure I still understand it.
Well, there's a lot to pack in. You have to tell me a specific part where you're confused
I'm
about.
a little confused with the whole Sub-Zero part. Now, Sub-Zero is obviously my favorite. Plays the villain in the first movie, but apparently he's also a good guy.
He's supposed to be a good guy in the games.
Do you know all about Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
Okay, so explain to me. You don't say anything. Explain to me Sub-Zero in short amount of words. Explain to me the history of Sub-Zero.
Do you want me to include mythologies or no? Mythologies came before Mortal Kombat 1.
If you want. I think that's
Let's
getting
just
too
start-
confusing for
Let's
Dan.
just start with Sub-Zero number 1.
Okay. Sub-Zero number 1, Bihan,
Right.
was invited to the tournament to take down Shang Tsung. invited by Quan Chi, I believe. Yeah, Quan Chi to take down Shang Tsung.
Right.
And he fails and fights Scorpion, and Scorpion kills him. The original Sub-Zero goes to the Netherrealm, becomes a spawn of the Netherrealm, Noob Saibot. And his younger brother, Kuai Liang, who was also known as Tundra before Mortal Kombat, took on the mantle of Sub-Zero and was in every game preceding that.
So so basically the second Sub-Zero is the main Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
first guy is a nobody.
He's Noob Saibot.
Yeah.
First off, from a mentality situation, how can you go from being a fucking sick-ass Sub-Zero to a guy that literally has noob in his name? You're a fucking noob is what I would say before a fight.
He's
a noob.
His soul was corrupted in the Netherrealm.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Basically, he was sent to Hell, and Hell corrupted him.
So he becomes a noob?
I mean,
His name is Ed Boon and John Tobias. It's
His
their
name
names
is Ed?
backwards. No,
No.
the main creator of Mortal Kombat, Ed Boon. His first name, Noob, is Boon backwards.
When are we talking about the creator of Mortal Kombat?
That's his love character there.
Yeah.
He
Sub-Zero?
named it after himself, Noob Saibot.
So what's the guy's name?
Ed Boon,
Ed Boon.
Boon.
Okay, Ed
Spell that
Boon.
backwards.
Okay.
and
Where is the
And then he has the secondary creator, John Tobias, and his last name backwards.
Whatever. Noob Saibot.
Ermac was named after error macros from the first Mortal Kombat game.
Flip Juice is correcting. Is saying what you're saying is correct.
No.
I guess I just said never. So really, the Sub-Zero in this movie was nobody. From a mentality of a fighter standpoint, I don't know if I could ever go from having the sick ass powers of Sub-Zero,
Of ice.
okay, to going to being a guy called Noob Saibot. And what's his power now?
He can mess around with shadows and create a shadow doppelganger of himself.
He gets to play around with shadows.
Yeah.
So now what's that like?
They're clones,
So
like
basi-
clones
so
of
basically I can be
himself.
if I'm Noob Saibot, I can walk around and instead of my shadow showing up here, I can have it come over here.
And it's a physical form. You can make your shadow beat people up.
There's really be 8 of them.
You can make a couple of them. I'm not sure if 8's the number, but
At least in the game, there's one extra.
you know. But you've played him before. He's cheap.
Not really.
He's a classic spam character.
Yeah.
So really, the beginning of so this movie just introduces the version number 1 of Sub-Zero. The second Sub-Zero hasn't even been yet to be shown.
They're opening it up for him to take the mantle of Noob Saibot in the next one.
If they make a next one.
Well, they don't think they're making another one?
It didn't do well, but they
Yeah.
probably will. I still think they will.
First off, let's be honest. Are we really count any movies doing well right now? It's the pandemic.
That's
Does not
true.
do anything though.
mean-
I think it did fine in the box office, but all of its ratings are
No.
bad.
People, the critics are always shitting on video game related movies. When's the last
There's
video
some
game
fair
movie-
criticisms to be had in there.
Well,
And
they said it was boring. Did you find that boring?
parts of it were boring.
I
We
think,
said
like-
this part, we're like, this is kind of
I
boring
think
right
like
now.
when you got to like the 30-minute to an hour 15, that part was boring.
Yeah.
The beginning was sick. The end definitely had. I don't know how you can argue with the ending, where they attacked at one place and then they all after that they all go out.
The lack of an actual tournament has people upset a little bit.
It's literally in the name. It's the
No.
Mortal Kombat tournament.
I feel like there wasn't a very big climax.
But they
to
were
it.
cheating.
Like even they had Scorpion come back, and they teamed up with the main guy Cole Young
So
to
what's
defeat
the deal
Sub-Zero.
with Scorpion? He's really dead.
In the
Who? Oh, yes,
first timeline, he was killed by Quan Chi, who pretty much made clones of the what was Sub-Zero's?
Lin Kuei.
Yeah,
Oh
Lin
yeah, I
Kuei,
forgot that there was
and killed
deception.
the entire clan. So Scorpion came back as a Hellspawn to try to kill Sub-Zero. and
So
avenge his
Sub-Zero was probably
I
very
just thought these were
confused.
just simple fighting games. There's
No.
like history and all that. Like, why don't they have a TV show to go over this stuff?
They did a long time ago.
A TV show?
They had
Yeah, it was a
movies
cartoon.
before.
Steve, A TV show is a TV show. I don't talk in terms of cartoons.
The
I hate
19
cartoons.
the 1995
I
movie.
hate
I'm not saying
cartoons.
cartoons right now.
The 1995 movie. I have not seen the new one, but I'm gonna say now before I
one?
watch the new one, the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie is
Actually, I
probably
think I've
better
seen that
than
That's what I was trying to say.
the new one. I've not seen the new one, but I'm gonna.
I said the 1995 is pretty much the only good video game movie is considered that, and it was dripping wet. I mean, it's a little cheesy now going back and looking at it, but it does father the greatest song of all time, the Mortal Kombat
cheesy?
song.
I can only imagine what the graphics look like in a 1995.
Yeah,
I mean, how they do the ice for Sub-Zero.
It's that part's actually not. His ice isn't really that bad. There's some parts that are bad.
And this movie made the ice absurd, and I loved every
Yeah.
second of it. Sub-Zero.
You'll have to go and watch their duel.
Did I
Yeah,
mention I do
from
not
the
like
old one.
cartoons?
Why?
I don't remember. I don't remember the last cartoon I watched. I cannot stand cartoons. I hate every second. I'm the type that if we were in a room and you put a cartoon on, I would get up and leave
Why?
because I don't like cartoons.
Why?
Okay,
Is there
I
a
sit
reason
here
why
and
you don't like
I know,
them?
know what's so baffling? As I sit here and I listen to all the weirdos that come into this store, whether it's Johnny, Tom, Dave, anybody, and they all, and you, and all talk about cartoons. And I'm like, what do you guys
What do
have
you
to-
mean by cartoons? A few different animes? It's
You guys
just
all watch. How do you even have time to watch cartoons?
it's art, Dan. How do you have time to watch ER 12 times?
It's an
Imagine if
actual
you
show.
took all the seasons and you watched something else for each time you rewatched it. It's not that much time
would
to
rather
take.
go blind than watch cartoons.
Well, I hope you do.
I can't stand cartoons. South Park, hate it. Simpsons, ridiculous. Pokemon, whatever. What are the other ones?
SpongeBob.
Pokemon, whatever.
The amount of SpongeBob references I've heard in this store.
SpongeBob is fucking legendary.
It
Do
is.
people go around watching it nowadays? Probably not. But people have
Not
fond
really.
memories from their childhood.
What
so-
other cartoons? So are you up in the morning on Saturdays watching cartoons?
No.
Are you?
I'm up in the morning helping out Brandon usually.
You got business to attend to.
What are some other big cartoons?
Fairly Odd Parents.
Never watched it.
We'll do
Family
more.
Guy, never watched it.
Cartoons, I mean, there's a difference. Cartoons are for kids.
First, before you continue, cartoons one thing. I'm not even getting into the realm of anime and that bullshit up here.
But there is a little cross one where I'm going to get into, like Simpsons, Family Guy,
What about
Rick and
them?
Morty.
Rick and whatever
That's
the
those.
Rick
I
and
still think those are technically like adult cartoons. So
If
I
was-
think I could
First of
see
all,
you
let me put it
hating
this way.
those.
I don't understand the idea of grown men sitting down watching cartoons like Family Guy. I just don't understand. I mean, Family Guy is maybe the only one because they're actually it shows like real, but like Simpsons, their hair and their head are like they're like whoa, that's not even like realistic in the general. I mean, Family Guy is at least possibly realistic, where it's kind of like they're people.
It's a
that's
talking
made into
dog.
cartoon. And the baby
Flip
does
Juice has
talk,
a good
too.
point. He said it's like a comedy in a different form. It's like taking Seinfeld and turning it into a cartoon. Would you watch it? They had all the same voice actors, but it was just animated.
I would consider it. Again, Family Guy, but Steve doesn't bring up a point. The dog talks and the baby talks. It's not realistic.
What about like
You have like no imagination, I think, is the problem.
Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes?
Nope.
I'd like to give
Rugrats,
Dan
nope.
like
What kind of sad childhood did you have?
Flintstones, absolutely not. The Jetsons, no.
I'd like to give Dan like a thing of Play-Doh and see what he makes with it. He'd probably just like rub it into a ball on it.
I just have I have no desire to
It's
watch
completely
cartoons.
functional. It rolls. Anything
I
else?
find them completely annoying, quite frankly. And whenever there's a conversation in the store about cartoons, I see myself out of it.
So you consider anything that's animated a cartoon? Is that what you're
Quite frankly,
referring
I consider a
to?
cartoon to be anime.
I didn't say anime. I'm just saying
if you
anything
put-
that's not actual live action. You
Right,
consider
if you
a
put an
cartoon.
anime, I would probably call it a cartoon. I wouldn't really know the difference.
So you just don't like animated art,
I
is what
guess.
you're saying. It's a taste.
I just don't.
It requires
I just don't understand the point of it.
a little bit of a bigger creative brain and a little bit of imagination to appreciate such art. Closed-minded people probably. Come on.
I guess my brain just doesn't really. Not so much. Because I understand. I just don't. It's not real. So I mean, at least with a TV show, there's a possibility.
I understand. It messes with your immersion. Immersion is everything. If you can't get immersed, then it's not even.
You can kind of make the same argument that video games aren't realistic.
But Dan only likes those like Call of Duty and stuff like that. NASCAR.
Video games are far more realistic than cartoons. They're believable when you watch them. Cartoons are not. When I'm watching The Simpsons, I know.
Dan wouldn't go and play. Well, actually, he did play Naruto with us the other day. He did play Naruto.
I whooped Tom's ass the first time. I actually gave him a little bit of a sweat and a little bit of a concern, and then I fell apart after that.
The second time you played him, just watching his face go from cool and confident to somewhat concerned was pretty.
Who, Tom?
Pretty.
Like
he was watching your fingers to see if you knew what you were doing. He stopped mid-play and he was watching your fingers.
It was like 10 minutes of pure enjoyment. The 3 minutes of the fight, and then the 7 minutes of the aftermath when he was walking around he couldn't figure out what the hell just happened. I just completely, never playing Naruto, whooped his ass in front of Mike. Mike, I think he even had a sense of loss of words for a little bit.
There is quite the wall. I'm very surprised he dropped the first match to you.
It's one of those situations where all the buttons were just aligning up that match. It's just like everything was coming together perfectly.
Tom was rusty. He only played me once, and he jumped right to you. So he wasn't going as hard as he could, and he took you lightly.
It was just a matter of I was hitting every right note and every right thing, and it just was a matter of it just worked out well.
Didn't you go Minato with a special mode? Didn't you hold down Minato?
Who's that?
Naruto's dad. That's your guy.
Oh.
Don't play dumb. You know Minato.
No, I don't. I just picked a guy with a cool looking jacket.
Yeah, that was him.
And we went and then after I got destroyed after. It wasn't any fun after that.
He is, yeah. He took it very seriously.
The magic just wasn't aligning. So, well, not to get too far off topic with. Did Johnny beat someone when he came in? Did he beat Tom?
He beat you without even looking at the screen.
That's a classic Johnny.
He went like this, and he just closed his eyes and was playing the controller, and he beat
He did that in Tekken one time. He just had. First off, Johnny's no idiot. Johnny knows all you gotta do is hit. All you gotta do is hit certain buttons, and he knows it's gonna do something. I can sit there and hit A and B the whole time.
He had to look a couple times. Naruto has a couple things where you would just have to look and do.
But I was just like...
You have to charge your chakra.
But I wanted to retire. That should have been the moment that I just retired from Naruto. Beating Tom. The 7 minutes after he was demanding a rematch right away, and he just couldn't figure it. It was great. What's that? Not to get too. Okay, we were talking about Mortal Kombat. Anything else to talk about? What were your thoughts overall about Mortal Kombat?
I mean, I thought it was good. You see Flip Juice a little is what he made for you in there. Do you like it?
Is that a cartoon? Or is that considered anime?
That's actually a character from Final Fantasy VII.
Huh.
So, video game character.
But also kind of anime.
Mm-hmm. Kind of, yeah. Definitely.
So, overall, Mike, were you pleased or satisfied or not pleased?
If you say satisfied, I was satisfied, but overall, I feel like there was definitely some weird aspects. Choosing to include the new character that was never in any of the games.
Yeah, but I understand it, though.
Why do you understand it?
Okay, but the problem is, who do they center on?
They have literally 80 characters to choose from.
I think if I'm in the writing meeting, I'm gotta imagine we need a character to centralize around. Who would that be?
You could literally do like 5 different people. You could do Liu Kang, you could do Scorpion, you could do Sub-Zero.
Raiden.
Sonya Blade, Jax. You have those people that are generally the originals, but
they didn't even put Johnny Cage in it.
The directors, him, he could have been one. Director's ego was so big that he just had to go and include his own original thought and jizz in the chef's soup, and that's what happened.
He may not even be in the next director.
And then he did questionable moves like including Melina and no Katana. Melina is a
freaking Reiko.
I didn't know who that was, and I love Mortal Kombat, so
He was in
I think-
Mortal
Wait,
Kombat
which one was
4.
Reiko?
the guy with the hammer
Oh.
that Jax gave the.
Oh, he gave it to him. And like Goro, I mean, I'll try not to talk in too many spoilers, but like, he shows up all badass, and then like 10 minutes later, done.
Yeah, he was a little disappointing.
It's just like-
They could have made like a whole movie about him, essentially,
It
but
just, I mean, I get it. It's Mortal Kombat. There needs to be deaths. There needs to be fatality. Now, I don't know if you know this, but at the end, when he recalled, only 2 of them got recalled.
who?
You don't remember the end? I'm trying not to do the spoilers too much.
Oh, okay.
You know the end? Who's the big boss at the end?
Shang Tsung, yep.
Seishun, and he did the cloud thing.
Yeah.
Only 2 of them went. They didn't show the other ones. So maybe that means those 2 aren't necessarily...
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's why I was.
Why
there
did they
was
do all of them?
there was no big climax at the end because you build it up with Scorp and
And
Cole.
I've never seen a bigger build-up to a bigger collapse than the bird girl.
Yeah.
Who was the bird girl with wings?
Actually, I think her name was somebody from the games, but she didn't resemble anyone I remember.
Was it wasn't Serena, was it?
Was it Kintara or something?
But she like
forget.
he talks like, and this is, and they're like spending like 5 minutes watching her flying, and then she just gets destroyed like 5 minutes. She doesn't even put up a fight, and like that much work got put into this character, and she's just like done.
No.
By the way, spoiler alert: we are talking about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
You can tag it in there after for the title,
But I don't understand why they built so much up in that character, and then they're just like,
they
he
were.
didn't even land a move. Did he do one move?
Was it Nitara?
Didn't you hear
Natara, that's
Didn't
what
you
it
hear
was.
the guy?
This is Natara.
Actually, I don't know. The Tara is part of the families that,
I think that name sounds familiar.
like Jin Taro and other
Is it in
people.
the- is it in the-
Minotauro.
She was from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. She's a vampire.
Does she have wings?
Yes, she has bat wings.
Natara.
Originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, this is the beautiful Natara. And really, they're calling again. But yeah, I was just like, and then she just got destroyed like 5 minutes later.
You
I
heard
was
what the
like-
guy said after.
Wow.
Said flawless victory.
I did like that. They did throw in some of the classic Mortal Kombat lines in the Mortal Kombat little phrase. I thought that was pretty. What was some other ones that they did? They did. There was another one too.
Fatality.
Fatality.
Was
They
there a
might have-
toasty?
No, sadly.
Such a missed opportunity.
They told someone to go for an uppercut and they emphasized it super hard.
They did. They go. Really? I'll handle this.
I just want to also note that this is, besides one short film, this is the only movie that the guy has directed.
So, I mean, he didn't do a bad job for his second movie ever. Just a lot of questionable choices. That's why he just couldn't help himself but include an original character.
But, like, Armageddon is a thing,
Yeah,
and it has every character. Can't pick one from there.
yeah. Like, so many characters.
Could have brought back Chameleon.
Holy smokes!
I didn't like Reptile, how they did him.
Reptile was another one. Like really, but see, he's not a real. He's not a real person, is he?
He's supposed to be a ninja reptile man.
But like you
He didn't don the
my
mask.
point is, he's an easy one to get rid of because.
Oh, I don't mind that he died or anything like
What
that.
I'm saying is the reason
Yeah.
why I think he went so quickly because you really can't have an actor on that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you couldn't tell who was acting that out.
Kinda. You could make him look like Killer Croc from like the Suicide Squad movies. You could do
guess.
plenty of special effects.
I guess that to me that's a classic. There's a great person that we can just gone.
No.
You know what I mean? But
They didn't even really. They could have made him a human guy at some points, and then he could have transformed into that. He could have just been like a human in a green ninja suit, and then transformed.
He was a human in the first game.
Nope.
He was-
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was just a straight up lizard man in this, and he didn't. Did he talk? I'm not sure if he
I don't think he
talked.
said
In
a
a,
word.
They just referred to him as like the reptilian.
But All right, we got anything else to go over? Fuck Killer Croc. Some cool new pops in the store this week. We had the Godzilla and the Kong pops finally show up, and they've been selling WandaVision. Whoa. We got the WandaVision. We got the Scarlet Witch. Who's the other one we got in?
Was it Vision?
Nope. Vision coming in tomorrow.
The Scarlet Witch, and I think it was just Wanda, like in a different
Oh, no,
thing.
the Agnes.
Oh, okay.
The villain, the Agnes, or whatever her name is. And, like, we put the WandaVision pops out, and they were literally just, like, gone. I'm just like...
They were extremely fast selling.
Gone. I'm just like,
Yeah.
whoa. And then we got a bunch of the Godzilla and Kong pops in, and I wish... I never order enough of the ones I should.
Well, you never want to get stuck with any.
But still, like, I
Yeah.
guess for some reason I didn't know that the Godzilla ones were 10-inch. Like, I would have got, like, a bunch of... You mean to tell me you don't think...
The Godzillas, yeah.
Godzilla 10-inch wouldn't sell? If we got 10 of them, they would sell. I don't know why I only got 4. I only got 4. But I guess for some reason I was thinking maybe they were 6-inch. Because I
Yeah.
read it the whole time. I thought, oh, these are only 6-inch. And I open them, I'm like, oh, they're the 10-inch.
Say, do we only have one Godzilla left?
And I kind of want to open one and put it on the set.
We'll
That's
have to see.
definitely a pop to have on the set. And I don't know about you, but I haven't seen them anywhere else.
I haven't really looked. But
I have. No one else has them. But, yeah, so we got a bunch of cool pops in. Got a couple more coming in tomorrow. So,
more Godzilla ones?
no, I got another WandaVision. 2 of the new Harry Potter Patronus. A couple of the Flash. And I think there's one more random one on there.
It's the jumbo ones, right?
Which one?
The Godzilla pops.
Gojira?
Yes, the 10-inch. What are they selling them for? 45?
Yep.
No, we're selling them for pretty much the same price.
They're shipping tomorrow, at least for Walmart.
Oh. Okay. All right. Anything else to go over? We
Nope.
got the No Look podcast coming up next 7 o'clock with Tyler and Austin. I'm hoping, I don't know what they're going over, but maybe there'll be a bunch of UFC drama going on.
Is he live from Cali?
Yes. So Austin will be live from the West Coast. Tyler live from the Florida area. And then, so they'll be doing their stream at 7 o'clock. Danny NASCAR, I'll be back on tonight, maybe with these two gents. 8 o'clock here. Joining the Monday schedule for this week. And then Austin will be back on for Monday Night Gaming live from the West Coast, Monday night style. So make sure you check him out. So the channel will be going very late tonight. So we're giving it a whirl and trying out the West Coast stuff. And 8 o'clock Austin's time is going to be 11 o'clock us. So channel will be live to about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So we'll see how that goes.
Some interesting stuff.
We now have a little studio over on the West Coast. So there you go. Okay, guys. From Steve, Mike, and I, Dave's off this week. Hope everyone has a great week. Make sure you check out Mike this Wednesday, Retro Wednesday. Dave will be on after him, Weekend Wednesday. And Steve, you're always popping in and out of all the different shows. So
Yep.
hope everyone has a great week. We'll see you next week here on Behind the Counter. Adios.